But I want to introduce somebody, as long as I'm here. Actually, the reason I wanted to come on first was so I could introduce this guy. I guess everyone has a favorite entertainer, and so do I, and so do you, and I'm sure this gentleman fills everybody's bill. And his name is... I got little enough to do anyhow.
Love is a burning thing.
You ain't told him your name yet.
And it makes a fiery ring. Bound by wild desire, I fell into a ring of fire. I fell into a burning ring of fire. I went down, 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 and the flames went higher. And it burns, 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 the ring of fire, the ring of fire.
What's your name? Luther Perkins, rhythm player.
I fell into a burning ring of fire. I went down, 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 and the flames went higher. And it burns, 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 the ring of fire, the ring of fire. The taste of love is sweet when hearts like ours meet. I fell for you like a child. Oh, but the fire went wild. I fell into a burning ring of fire. I went down, 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 and the flames went higher. And it burns, 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 the ring of fire, the ring of fire. I fell into a burning ring of fire. I went down, 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 and the flames went higher. And it burns, 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 the ring of fire, the ring of fire. And it burns, 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 the ring of fire, the ring of fire, the ring of fire. I hear the train a-comin', it's rolling around a bend, and I ain't seen the sunshine since I don't know when. I'm stuck in Folsom Prison, and time keeps dragging on. But that train keeps a-rollin' on down to San Antone. When I was just a baby, my mama told me, son, always be a good boy, don't ever play with guns. But I shot a man in Reno just to watch him die. When I hear that whistle blowing, I hang my head and cry. Well, if they freed me from this prison, if that railroad train was mine, I bet I'd move it on a little farther down the line, far from Folsom Prison. That's where I want to stay. And I'd let that lonesome whistle blow my blues away. Thank you very much. Nice to be back in Hollywood. What? We have a chair out here, please. Marshall, would you bring me a drink of water when you come back? We'd like to do a song for you that's 8.5 minutes long. Since I have a little laryngitis. about the steel driving man, John Henry. Is that water? Are you sure?
That's what it is. It's water.
It sure is. Wonder what that run off of. Grandpa Jones' boots. June Carter had been working with us about a year and a half, and we discovered that throughout the country there's 47 different versions. Pardon me, Mike. Can you hear me? 47 different versions of the song about John Henry, and about 47 versions of lies, because John Henry was a real man. Worked on the C&O Road and at Big Bend Tunnel in Kentucky. He had a race with a steam drill to prove that he could outwork the steam drill. He did, and he almost doubled the work of the drill, but that night he died in his sleep from a brain hemorrhage. They all agreed, all 47 versions, that John Henry picked up his hammer, a little piece of steel, and said, "That hammer gonna be the death of me." John Henry's pappy woke him up one midnight. He said, "Before the sheriff comes, I want to tell you." Said, "Listen, boy, learn to hoist a jack, learn to lay a track, learn to pick and shovel too. And take that hammer, it'll do anything you tell it to." John Henry's mammy had about a dozen babies. John Henry's pappy broke jail a dozen times. The babies all got sick, and when the doctor wanted money, he said, "I'll pay you a quarter at a time. Starting tomorrow, that's a pay for a steel driver on this line." Then the section foreman said, "Hey, hammer swinger." He said, "I see you brought your own hammer, boy, but what else can all them muscles do?" And he said, "I can hoist a jack, I can lay a track, I can pick and shovel too." He said, "Can you swing that hammer?" And I said, "Yes, sir. I'll do anything you hire me to." He said, "Now ain't you something? You so high and mighty with all them muscles. Just go ahead, boy. Pick up that hammer and show me what you can do." He said, "Get a rusty spike and swing your hammer down 3 times. Pay you a nickel a day for every inch you sink it to. Go on and do what you say you can do." With a steep-nosed hammer on a 4-foot switch handle, John Henry raised it back till it touched his heels, and the spike went through the cross tie, split it half in two. 35 cents a day for driving steel. Said, "Sweat, boy, sweat. You owe me 2 more swings." He said, "All right, I was born for driving steel." Well, now John Henry hammered in the mountains. He'd give a grunt and he'd give a groan with every swing. The women folks for miles around heard him and come down. Said, "Watch him make the cold steel ring. Lord, what a swinger. Watch him make the cold steel ring." But the bad boss come up laughing at John Henry. Said, "You full of vinegar now, but you about through. We gonna get a steam drill to do your share of driving. Then what's all them muscles gonna do? Huh, John Henry? Gonna take a little bit of vinegar out of you." John Henry said, "I feed 4 little brothers, and my baby sister's walking on her knees, walking on her knees. Now did the Lord say that machines ought to take the place of living? Then what's a substitute for bread and beans? I ain't seen it. Do engines get rewarded for their steam?" Then John Henry said to his captain, he said, "A man ain't nothing but a man. But if you bring that steam drill round, I'll beat it fair and honest. I'll die with that hammer in my hand. But I'll be laughing, 'cause you can't replace a steel driving man. There was a big crowd of people at the mountain. John Henry said to the steam drill, "How is you?" He said, "Pardon me, Mr. Steam Drill. I suppose you didn't hear me." I said, "How you, huh? I just wondered. Can you hoist a jack? Can you lay a track? Can you pick and shovel too? Huh? Listen, this hammer swinger's talking to you." "2,000 people hollered, 'Go, John Henry!' Then somebody hollered, 'The mountain's caving in.' John Henry told his captain, 'Tell the kind folks don't worry. That ain't nothing but my hammer sucking wind. It keeps me breathing. This steel driver's muscle I ain't tin.' Captain, tell the people move back further. I'm at the finish line and ain't no drill. It's so far behind, but yet ain't got the brains to quit it. When she blows up, she'll scatter across the hills, Lord, Lord. When she blows up, she'll scatter across the hills." Now John Henry had a little woman. I believe the lady's name was Polly Ann. Yeah, that was his good woman. John Henry threw his hammer over his shoulder and went on home. Early next morning he said, "Come here, Polly Ann. Come here, sugar." He said, "You know, I've been laying here watching that sun come up, and I believe this is the first time I've seen the sun come up that I couldn't come up with it." He said, "Take that hammer, Polly Ann. Go to the railroad and swing it like you've seen me do it. And when you're swinging with the leading man, they'll know you're John Henry's woman, but tell them that ain't all you can do. Tell them, I can hoist a jack, I can lay a track, I can pick and shovel too. Ain't no machine can, that's been proved to you." There was a big crowd of mourners at the church house. The section hands laid him in the sand. Trains go by on the rails John Henry laid. They slow down and take off their hats, the men do. When they come to the place that John Henry's laying, resting his back, they say, "Good morning, steel driver. You sure was a hammer swinger." Then they go on by, picking up a little speed. Clickety-clack, 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 clickety-clack. Yonder lies a steel driving man, Lord, Lord. Yonder lies a steel driving man. Yonder lies a steel driving man, Lord, Lord. Yonder lies a steel driving man. Yonder lies a steel driving man. Who's next? Thank you very much. Certainly nice to be back at the Hollywood Bowl. The next act on our program for tonight is Charlie Deacon Andy Moore. Ho!
Yes. Thank you, Johnny. Bless your heart. Neighbors, let's all have a wonderful round of applause here for the one and only Johnny Cash. All right. How about that? Thank you for that nice hand. Now put them back in each other's pockets. How about this? A bowl full of hillbillies. Japers, that's nice. You know, neighbors, I was just looking out there. Some of you look a little bit worried sitting out here, you know, in the open like this, but I'll have you know that you got nothing to worry about. I talked to the pigeons that's going to fly over, and they said they're going to fly upside down. But neighbors, you know, we all have favorites in our western field. And this guy that I have a chance to introduce at this time certainly needs no introduction. He's one of my very dear favorites. And, of course, he had a record T for Texas on the monument labels for so long. So, thank you, ma'am. So I'll tell you what, let's do. Let's have a wonderful round of applause for the one and only Grandpappy Jones. Grandpa Jones.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, John.
It's a long ways out here, I'll tell you. Oh, me. I've been wanting to come out here and pick for so many years. My goodness. Sure glad I dressed up and everything. Everything I've got on is brand new. Oh, but these breeches, and I couldn't throw them away. They've stuck to me through thick and thin. And I'm not going to let them down now. Do a little tune that one of my uncles taught me a long time ago. Called Son, Get Up and Light That Lamp. I think I knocked one of your ma's eyeballs out. And this is the way it goes.
Now this is a story about the Rock Island Line. The Rock Island Line, she run to New Orleans. There's a big toll gate, and if you got certain things on board going through the toll gate, you don't have to pay the man no money. Train driver pulled up to the toll gate, and the man hollered and said, "What do you got on board?" "I got livestocks, I got livestocks, I got cows, I got pigs, I got sheeps, I got mule, I got all livestocks, I got all livestocks, I got all livestock." Said, "You all right, boy? Go right on through the toll gate." So he went on through, picking up a little speed like this. Down the Rock Island Line, a mighty good road. Rock Island Line is a road to ride. Rock Island Line is a mighty good road. If you ride, you got to ride it like you finally get to ticket at station for the Rock Island Line. Cloud in the west and look like rain. Around the curve come a passenger train. Northbound train on the southbound track. Already leaving, but he won't be back. Down the Rock Island Line, mighty good road. Rock Island Line is a road to ride. Rock Island Line is a mighty good road. If you ride, you got to ride it like you finally get to ticket at station for the Rock Island Line. Engineer said before he died, 2 more drinks he'd like to try. Conductor said, what could they be? Hot cup of coffee and a cold glass tea. Down the Rock Island Line, mighty good road. Rock Island Line is a road to ride. Rock Island Line is a mighty good road. If you ride, you got to ride it like you finally get to ticket at station for the Rock Island Line.
Big John, ladies and gentlemen, the fabulous Johnny Cash. And now...
Well, I've laid around and I played around this old town too long. Summer's almost gone.
Finale
Yes,
time,
winter's
ladies and
coming
gentlemen.
on.
Here's
I've
the
laid
entire
around
cast
and
of
I
tonight's
played
big
around
show.
This
On
old
stage.
town too long, and I feel like I've got to travel on.
Everybody.
Well, a high sheriff and the police riding after me, yeah, they're coming after me. High sheriff and the police riding after me, and I feel like I've got to travel on. Well, I've laid around and I played around this old town too long. Summer's almost gone, yes, winter's coming on. I've laid around and I played around this old town too long, and I feel like I've got to
travel on. I've laid around and played around this old town too long. Summer's almost gone, winter's coming on. I've laid around and played around this old town too long, and I feel like I've got to travel on.
Well, a high sheriff and the police riding after me, yeah. me. Hi, Sheriff and the police riding after me, and I feel like I've got to travel on.
Played around and played around this old town too long. Summer's almost gone, yes, winter's coming on. Played around and played around this old town too long, and I feel like I've got to travel on.
Now it takes a worried man to sing a worried song. Takes a worried man to sing a worried song. I'm worried long, but I won't be worried long.
Ain't got no money but a $2 bill. $2 bill. $2 bill. Ain't got no money but a $2 bill.
On my way back home.
I played around and played around this old town too long, and I feel like I've got to travel on.
Well, there they are. The entire cast of tonight's big show here at the Hollywood Bowl. Johnny Cash and company, ladies and gentlemen. I'll tell you what, if you enjoyed the show, let them hear it in one big round of applause and let Hollywood know that we were here tonight. How about that? Well, that about wraps things up. Johnny, do you have anything you'd like to say to the folks, or is this it? There he goes. Well, that wraps it up, ladies and gentlemen, for the second annual KFOX Country Music Spectacular here in the Hollywood Bowl. It's been a great pleasure to be here with you tonight. I want you to know that these things aren't done by any one person or any couple of people alone. We sure would like to extend our thanks to several of the other radio stations in the area who have done such a fine job in promoting this show, including radio station KTYM, KWOW, KUZZ in Bakersfield, KEAP up in Fresno, XERB down in San Diego, plus the various television stations that have donated their time and their talent to letting you folks know this show is happening here tonight. Also the many, many sponsors who pay for that time that gave us the time to bring the message to you that we're going to have this show here in the Hollywood Bowl. So on behalf of the entire cast and crew of this show, this is Johnny Western saying goodnight to you and all of you, and thank you for being here in the Hollywood Bowl for KFOX's second annual Country Music Spectacular. Good night.
Again, will you?
Aye, aye.